Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 5 most carried knives over the last couple of months or so. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows the criteria for this is not knives I carry that everyone can get. No, these are just factually the knives that I have been carrying, whether they are available or not. I currently have them, so I use them, right? So if you're curious, I will share these with you. In order, of course. Number 1 will be the most carried for the last couple of months. If anything is available, I will link it right down below, but not a lot on this list is available today. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. I'm going to start off with one that I very recently got. In fact, you guys probably have not even seen me unbox it yet. How is that possible? Because I don't upload things in the order that I recorded them, right? Not all the time anyway. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek of this one. This is one that I've made a big deal out of on my community tab quite often lately. And I think it's actually one you can grab right now. And that's the new Ria XOM gravity knife with the lock. I am a huge fan of this knife. This actually is a fantastic EDC knife. I wasn't sure how convenient a gravity knife would be. If you guys are not familiar with this knife, there's an older one. The original was much larger, and it did not have a lock, and it did not have a pocket clip. And this makes for a very awkward and somewhat dangerous carry when the thing can just flop open whenever in your pocket and the blade can just come out. Yeah, it's not ideal. But having this lock here, right, which locks it in the closed position, and it can also lock the knife in the open position, which is great. The pocket clip is also fantastic. When I showed this off on a short, people were concerned that it was very rattly. So in the closed position, very little rattle. In the open position, when you're holding onto it, there's also no rattle. The only time that there's going to be rattle is if you're holding it. How often do you hold a knife like this? Is this how you're like, oh, I need to cut open the package. Excuse me, Francis. I'm just gonna get around you here real quick. I gotta cut it. You don't hold it like that. This has the same amount of rattle generically that like an OTF is gonna have. I think I can actually demonstrate that with something like the Recon 40 from Microtech. Right. So, stop being concerned about the rattle. It's no different than any other OTF. When you're holding onto this thing, everything is substantially more solid. And honestly, this little guard right here really makes, this thing work well and makes it comfortable, right? The double-edged one, I opted for that because you essentially just get double the edge performance, but you lose the ability to put your thumb up on this spine, which I'll admit I have attempted to do a couple of times without remembering, hey, there's an edge there, right? But this is really cool. It's very fidgety. It's honestly, it's like an OTF without a spring. And a spring in an OTF is something that will fail over a period of time, right? This is not reliant on the spring. It's just reliant on gravity. And on top of that, the lock on this thing is actually really strong if you think about it. This little pill-shaped piece of, well, I think it's actually steel, truth be told. Let's take a look. I think it is. It might be titanium. In any case, the amount of total surface contact is quite a bit all the way around. But wait, there's one on the other side as well. The total amount of surface contact and total amount of material that is actually locking the blade in place is at least the same as most common high-end super durable folding knives, probably a little bit more. I have really enjoyed carrying, I've been enjoying carrying and using this thing. And because of how it's designed, it really is convenient. I'm really impressed by this. I would imagine that this thing is going to be a big part of my carry rotation for a very long time. I think these are about $280 or so, which I think is a pretty fair price. Yeah, spoiler alert, I really recommend the new XOM. I think it's pretty awesome. Moving on here, this is an interesting one that I never thought that I would carry. And this might be available, it might not. I'll try and link it if I can. This is the Surge Panchenko production slip joint razor version 2. I've never actually handled the version 1. This is exactly like what it sounds. It is a slip joint knife that has the ability to swap out, the replaceable razor blades. You can also put the super duper cool fancy ceramic ones in there. I think you can even find like S30V blades or whatever. You can put whatever in there you want. This is nice because it allows you the convenience and general economic utility of replaceable razor blades, but it's a little more interesting than the lowly Milwaukee Fastback because it is a super cool knife world enthusiast titanium, this or that. But it does work really well. And honestly, on top of that, it has those elements that you expect in a nice slip joint, a snap into the closed position, a distinct half stop or mid stop with no play, and also a snap into the open position. It also is pretty darn comfortable and comes with a good clip, right? They're not that expensive. I mean, and listen, brace yourselves, right? Because people get up in arms when I say that. When we're talking about other things in the same caliber, right, it doesn't actually have a blade it's the replaceable utility blades, but as far as the titanium and the manufacturing, not complexity, the manufacturing accuracy that goes into this thing, right, I think the price is okay. I think they come in at about $150, something like that, which is going to be higher than a lot of people are willing to pay, especially considering you can get a utility knife for $10 or whatever. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. I've really enjoyed this. And the best thing is that you can just use it and it doesn't really matter what happens to the edge because you can just pop the blade out and put it back in. Right? But again, the difference between this and having that exact same convenience with a $10 utility knife is this is cool and not boring, which makes me sound really snobby, but I've been doing this for 5 years now, right? It's kind of just the name of the game. Honestly, I'm just a really big fan of this thing all the way around. I'm a big fan of Serge Panchenko designs, and I think that this is interesting. And coming from a person who's not really a big slip joint fan, not really a big utility razor fan, I don't know why I'm interested in this, but I just love how it carries. It's very compact, very lightweight. It's just a nice choice. Moving on here, one that a lot of people are going to groan and moan about. I know. Not a lot of people have this right now, but I have this because a viewer loaned it to me. I have to send it back, but I'm very much enjoying carrying this while I have it, and that is the new Microtech MSI, which is actually, that's not, you should call it the MSI because it's the Microtech Standard Issue is what that stands for. This is Microtech's new RAM lock, which is an ambidextrous, almost like an Axis style lock, except that it does not use omega springs. It uses a coil spring, which dramatically increases the potential life of the lock. It's also extremely robust. Very easy to use. The only thing that I wish was a little bit different on this knife is the strength or the amount of energy or force required to actually lift the blade. It's a big, heavy blade, and it does fire out. If you catch it exactly right, it does fire out pretty readily, but it doesn't quite snap into place with as much snap as the new Ramlock stitch, which I also have here. But I really, really like carrying and using it. This is sure to be, what's crazy about this is that it's a USA Microtech, and it's coming in at $250, which anybody who's been, paying any attention to Microtech over the last decade, that's going to make you poop your pants. It is amazing to me that Microtech is only charging $250 for this thing. This is the type of thing that generally Microtech is just like, oh, everybody wants it. They knew everybody wanted this, and they still give us a fair price tag, in my opinion. But it's generally the type of thing that they just, charge through the roof for. But honestly, the M390, it's M390 MK, which is slightly tweaked from Microtech by Bowler. But the M390 MK, sheepsfoot blade, nice big robust blade profile that doesn't really carry all that heavy despite it being a pretty large knife. The clip, I hate it, but that's just, the thing. At least they made it an ambi clip, right? So lefties and righties, you can both enjoy this thing. But this is probably the most robust of this style lock that's been created. And honestly, outside of, a couple of quirky things, including the little bit of sharpness down here in this area. This has been a pretty awesome carry experience. So the MSI, I know you guys haven't seen the review for it yet. It is truly an awesome knife. Moving on here, here's one that you guys, this isn't going to surprise you at all. The second most carried knife in my rotation here lately is my newer Winter Blade Cofactor. This is the newest generation, and these are the ones that ting, right? I am certain, for anybody who's wanting one of these and hasn't been able to get one yet, I am certain that there are going to be more. If you don't know what this is a knife that was created by Brian Winters. He does make customs, but these are manufactured, I think it's either Bestech or Riot. I don't know if it's currently Bestech, and maybe the plan is to go to Riot, I'm not sure. But it operates with the force of magnets, which is a really cool idea. It also makes it super fidgety, and it also makes a very satisfying ting, right? It's, I'm trying to get it to reverberate the way that it usually does. There we go. Really, really fun, very compact, lightweight. This is carbon fiber and titanium, pretty darn thin, especially the blade. Blade is nice and thin. And despite looking like an uncomfortable or angry rectangle, it's pretty darn ergonomic and pretty darn accommodating. I am a huge fan of the Winter Blade Cofactor, and I think everybody knows that. And then finally, my #1 most carried knife over the last couple of months, and this thing has dominated. Not a new model at all, just one that I came back to and found that I loved. And that is the Guardian Tactical Recon 35. This is a kind of special one with a carbon fiber inlay. Other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. This is LMAX, and you know, I've been pretty kind of like whatever with this thing. I haven't babied it, and this finish really does hide a lot. You can see a couple of marks here or there. It really does hide a lot of use. The main reason that I like this is #1, it's a dual action OTF, which are, you know, some of the most convenient EDC style knives out there. But the other reason I like it is because of that bearing switch. There are bearings underneath the switch that ride on that steel plate, and it makes this thing so much easier to deploy. It's got a nice compact size, still a full-size blade, right? Made in the USA. I think these things are about $270, $275. More if you want the carbon fiber inlay, but the standard versions are great. This has just been a truly excellent EDC. I mean, I'm at the point now where I will essentially carry and use this thing for whatever. It's not a babied item. There was a time when I had the smaller one. I showed my Recon 40 here, which does not get carried nearly as much because it's so big. But I had I had another one of these a long time ago that was double-edged, and for some reason I never carried and used it as much as I should have. I ended up trading it. My buddy Jeff, I think, actually got that one from me. I realized I wanted one back, not just for my collection, but to actually carry and use, and that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. This is an excellent, if you're looking for, you know, best bang for your buck, one of the best bangs for your buck on the US OTF market. The Recon 35 is an awesome knife, and the action is unlike anything else because of that bearing switch. It really is worth it to me, even though it's, you know, slightly higher price than both the Kershaw Livewire and Axial Shift, which are, you know, also great options. It is less expensive than the Microtech Ultratech, and I think the Guardian Tactical Recon 35 is head and shoulders over the Microtech. Really an excellent knife. This thing has not failed once. I've probably deployed it 1,000 times, legitimately 1,000 times. The only thing that sucks is the bevel is a little wonky. That'll get corrected as I continue to use and sharpen it, but really overall a great experience. So once again, most carried, we have the Guardian Tactical Recon 35. Second most carried is going to be the Winter Blade Cofactor. Third most carried is the new MSI. Fourth most carried is going to be the Surge Panchenko slip joint razor, production slip joint razor version 2. And then finally, a knife that is sure to climb these ranks very quickly is the new Ria XOM with the lock. That's going to be pretty much it. This was longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's going to be pretty much it today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, I'll link any of these that are available down in the description. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.